Only the fearsome humans came to the rescue. The galaxy had been calm for a long time. Trade routes were open, stars were bright, and most worlds believed war was a thing of the past. Many species lived under a shared alliance. They trusted rules, councils, and careful talks. They believed that reason would always win over force. Humans were part of the alliance, but only in name. They lived far from the center of galactic space. Few aliens had met them in person. Stories about humans were strange and unclear. Some said humans were brave and stubborn. Others said they were violent and unstable. Because of this, most species kept their distance. On the world of Lyran, the sky was purple and calm. Tall towers of glass and metal reached into the air. Inside one of the towers, a council meeting was taking place. Leaders from many species sat in a wide circle. Their faces showed worry. An enemy had appeared from beyond known space. They attacked without warning. Their ships were dark and sharp, built only for war. They did not talk. They did not ask for land or power. They only destroyed. At first, the Alliance fleets tried to stop them. The battles were short and painful. The enemy used heavy weapons and moved without fear. Entire defense lines broke in minutes. Worlds that had never seen war burned in silence. Reports kept coming. More systems fell. Refugee ships crowded safe zones. Fear spread faster than any signal. One council member, a tall being with silver skin, spoke in a low voice. The Alliance had lost 5 fleets in a single month. Defense plans failed again and again. The enemy learned quickly. Another leader said the Alliance should retreat and protect the core worlds. This idea caused anger and fear. Abandoning outer systems meant leaving millions to die. No one had a real answer. In a quiet corner of the station, a junior officer named Kevin Ross listened to the meeting through a secure channel. He was human. He worked as a signal analyst, a simple job that kept him away from politics. He had been on this station for 3 years, and no one had ever asked him for advice. Kevin noticed something strange in the battle data. Enemy ships reacted slowly to unexpected moves. They followed patterns. This reminded him of old human war studies. He hesitated. Humans were not trusted. Many leaders believed humans would make things worse. Still, Kevin sent a short message to his direct supervisor, an alien named Sarah. He did not offer a plan. He only said that humans might understand this enemy better than others. Sarah read the message twice. She did not answer right away. Hours later, the station shook as another alert came in. A nearby colony was under attack. Evacuation had failed. There were no ships left to help. Inside the council chamber, silence fell. Some leaders lowered their heads, others stared at the floor. Sarah stood up. Her voice was steady but quiet. She said there was one option left, one that the Alliance had avoided for years. She said they could ask the humans for help. The room reacted at once. Some leaders protested. They said humans were too aggressive. Others said humans could not be controlled. A few said humans would take advantage of the crisis. Sarah did not argue. She only reminded them that every other option was gone. After a long pause, a vote was taken. The decision passed by a small margin. The Alliance would send a request for aid to humanity. The message could not be official. Too many rules blocked it. Instead, it would be sent through an old emergency channel, one used long ago during first contact. Kevin was called into a secure room. His hands shook as he sat at the console. He knew this channel well. Humans still monitored it, even if no one else did. The message was simple. The Alliance was under attack. Defense had failed. Help was needed. Kevin added one line of his own. He wrote that the galaxy was afraid, and that fear had no other place to turn. He sent the signal. Days passed with no reply. The enemy continued to advance. Another world fell. Another fleet was lost. Some council members accused Sarah of wasting time. Others blamed humans for not answering. Kevin kept his eyes on the signal logs, hoping to see any sign of response. On the fifth day, the system detected a change. A reply signal appeared, weak but clear. It did not come from the Alliance network. It came from deep space. The message was short. It said that humans had received the call. It said they were coming. No threats, no promises, just those words. The council reacted with mixed feelings. Relief, fear, and doubt filled the room. Soon after, long-range sensors picked up movement. Ships were entering the outer systems. Their designs did not match any known Alliance style. They were heavy, rough, and dark. Kevin watched the data scroll across the screen. The ships moved in tight formation. Their engines burned hot. They did not slow down or change course. On the bridge of the leading human ship, Jack Miller stood with his hands behind his back. He was calm, but his eyes were sharp. He had spent most of his life in space, moving from one conflict to another. Beside him, Alex Carter studied the tactical display. He said the enemy was bold but careless. He said they expected fear, not resistance. Lisa Brown entered the bridge carrying a data pad. She was a science officer, but she had seen enough wars to know how they ended. She said the enemy weapons were powerful but unstable. With the right pressure, they would fail. Jack listened. He always did. The human fleet did not announce itself. It moved straight toward the contested zone. Alliance sensors tracked them in silence. On the council station, fear returned. Some leaders demanded that humans stop and wait for orders. Others said it was too late to interfere. Kevin watched the human ships pass the last defense line. He felt something he had not felt in years. Hope. Far ahead, the enemy fleet turned to face the newcomers. They had never fought humans before. They did not know what was coming.
As the distance closed, Jack gave a single order. All ships powered weapons.
No speeches, no delays. The galaxy held its breath. This was how it began. The first battle between humans and the enemy did not look like any other fight the Alliance had seen before. The human fleet did not form wide lines or slow defensive walls. Instead, the ships spread out and moved fast, like a pack of hunters. Enemy ships opened fire first. Bright beams cut through space. Several human ships were hit, and armor plates burned away. Still, the human ships did not stop. Jack Miller watched the battle from the command deck. His voice stayed calm as he gave short orders. Ships changed direction in sharp turns. Smaller vessels moved ahead, drawing enemy fire away from the larger ones. Alex Carter focused on timing. He counted enemy shots and noticed small pauses between volleys. He ordered human ships to strike during those moments. Explosions spread across enemy lines. The Alliance fleet stayed back. Their commanders had been told to observe and support only if needed. Many watched in fear. Some believed the humans would be destroyed in minutes, but that did not happen. The enemy had strong weapons, but they expected slow targets. Human ships moved in strange paths, sometimes flying close enough to scrape armor. Human pilots took risks that no Alliance pilot would dare. Lisa Brown worked in the data center of the fleet. She studied energy readings from enemy weapons. She noticed stress patterns building inside their systems. She sent quick updates to Jack and Alex. Human ships changed tactics again. They stopped firing for a moment and focused on evasion. Enemy weapons overheated. Several enemy ships exploded without being hit. The first enemy retreat began only 20 minutes into the fight. Alliance observers could not believe it. A force that had crushed entire fleets was pulling back. The battle ended quickly after that. Human ships did not chase far. Jack ordered a halt once the enemy crossed into deeper space. The Alliance had won its first victory in months. Back on the council station, leaders argued again. Some praised the humans. Others feared them more than ever. They had never seen war handled with such cold focus. Kevin Ross watched the recordings again and again. He noticed how humans protected each other. When one ship took damage, others moved to cover it. No one was left behind. Human ships docked at the station later that day. The sound of heavy metal echoed through the halls. Human crews walked with confidence, but they did not act proud. They stayed quiet and alert. Jack Miller met the Alliance Council in person. He stood alone in the center of the chamber. He did not bow or threaten. He only asked for full access to enemy data and battle history. Some leaders resisted. They said Alliance secrets must be protected. Jack looked around the room. He said the enemy would not care about secrets. He said either the Alliance trusted humans or the humans would leave. Silence followed. Access was granted. Lisa Brown and her team began working at once. They moved into Alliance data vaults and command rooms. They asked many questions. They listened more than they spoke. Alex Carter joined Alliance officers in fleet planning rooms. He pointed out weak formations and poor retreat paths. Some officers felt insulted. Others listened closely. Over the next few days, human ships repaired damage at a speed the Alliance found shocking. Crews worked without rest. Engineers slept beside machines. Medical teams treated injuries quickly and sent people back to duty. Enemy attacks resumed sooner than expected. This time, the enemy came with more ships. Alliance fleets prepared to defend, but Jack Miller advised against it. He said waiting would only give the enemy time to adjust. Instead, humans launched a forward strike. This decision caused panic among Alliance leaders. They feared humans would drag them into deeper war. Still, the humans moved before any orders could stop them. The human fleet jumped straight into an enemy-controlled system. Enemy forces were caught while reorganizing. Confusion spread fast. Alex Carter coordinated attacks from multiple angles. Enemy ships collided as they tried to respond. Lisa Brown used captured signals to block enemy commands. Alliance fleets followed behind, slowly at first. As they saw enemy lines breaking, they gained courage. The battle was brutal. Human ships took heavy losses. Fires burned inside hulls. Some ships were lost completely. Jack Miller stayed on the front line. When one of his escort ships was destroyed, he ordered no pause. He said stopping would only increase losses. By the end of the battle, the enemy system was silent. The Alliance had never seen such destruction or such success. Fear spread through the enemy ranks. For the first time, they faced an opponent who did not break. Reports came in from other fronts. Enemy attacks slowed. Some systems were abandoned without a fight. Alliance citizens began to whisper new stories. They said humans were monsters in war. They said humans enjoyed destruction. Kevin Ross did not believe that. He saw the exhaustion in human faces. He saw the quiet moments after battle when crews mourned their dead. Lisa Brown spoke with Alliance doctors and shared human medical methods. She helped treat wounded aliens without hesitation. This surprised many. Alex Carter trained Alliance pilots in new maneuvers. He was strict but fair. Some pilots failed again and again. He did not mock them. He only told them to try once more. Jack Miller refused offers of praise. When thanked, he said the job was not finished. The enemy adapted. They changed weapons and attack patterns. They learned faster now. Human commanders noticed this. They met in private and discussed next steps. The war would not end quickly. Alliance leaders asked humans what they wanted in return for help. Territory, power, trade control. Jack Miller answered with one sentence. He said humans wanted the enemy stopped. This confused the council. More battles followed. Some victories, some losses. Each fight was harder than the last. Still, one truth became clear across the galaxy. When humans fought, they did not give up. Fear slowly changed shape. It was no longer fear of humans alone. It was fear of standing without them. As enemy forces gathered for a massive strike, the Alliance waited for the human response. Humans did not wait. They were already moving. The enemy strike came sooner than expected. Long-range sensors picked up a massive force moving toward the heart of Alliance space. This was not a raid or a test. It was a final push meant to break everything at once. Alliance leaders panicked. Defense fleets were still damaged from earlier battles. Many worlds had weak shields and tired crews. Evacuation plans were rushed and incomplete. Jack Miller studied the enemy movement in silence. He did not show fear. But he knew the truth. If the enemy reached the core worlds, the war would be lost. Alex Carter spoke first. He said the enemy force was too large to stop with normal defense. He said meeting them head-on would only lead to heavy losses. Lisa Brown added that enemy command ships were hidden deep inside the fleet. Their control systems were stronger now, but also more complex. If those ships were destroyed, the enemy force would fall into chaos. Jack made a decision that shocked the Alliance commanders. He said the humans would attack the enemy command ships directly. Alliance leaders protested. They said it was suicide. No fleet had ever broken through the enemy front lines. Jack replied in a calm voice. He said humans had done worse things to survive. The plan was simple and dangerous. A small group of human ships would rush through the enemy fleet at full speed. They would ignore most enemy ships and aim only for the command core. Alliance fleets would stay back and defend key worlds. Kevin Ross watched the plan form on his screen. His hands felt cold. He understood the risk. Many of the human ships would not return. When the time came, the human fleet moved without hesitation. Engines burned bright as ships jumped into the path of the enemy force. The enemy reacted fast. Weapons fire filled space. Human ships were hit again and again. Hulls cracked. Systems failed. Still, they pushed forward. Jack Miller stood on the bridge, gripping the rail as the ship shook. He gave orders between impacts. His voice stayed clear. Alex Carter adjusted routes in real time. When one ship was destroyed, he shifted others to fill the gap. He did not slow down. Lisa Brown worked under emergency lights. Sparks fell from broken panels as she monitored enemy signals. She found the command pattern she was looking for. She sent coordinates to Jack and Alex. The command ships were closer than expected. Human ships broke formation and surged ahead. Enemy defenses focused on them, leaving gaps behind. Several human ships exploded before reaching the target zone. Their loss opened space for others. Alliance fleets watched in horror and awe. They saw humans fly straight into death without turning away. At last, the command core came into view. Massive enemy ships floated at the center, protected by layers of shields. Jack gave the final order. All remaining human ships fired at once. Weapons slammed into the shields. Energy flared and bent space around the target. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the shields failed. Human ships pressed closer. Some collided on purpose, driving damaged hulls into enemy systems. One command ship broke apart. Another went dark. Lisa Brown detected a signal collapse. Enemy communication dropped across the fleet. Confusion spread fast. Enemy ships stopped moving in perfect patterns. Some fired at nothing. Others turned on each other by mistake. Jack ordered the human fleet to pull back. Only a few ships were left able to move. As humans retreated, Alliance fleets surged forward. This time, the enemy could not respond as 1J. The battle turned into a rout. Enemy ships were destroyed or fled in all directions. When the fighting ended, space was filled with wreckage and silence. The victory was complete, but the cost was heavy. Less than half of the human strike force returned. On Alliance stations and worlds, people stood in silence as reports came in. They had been saved, but at a terrible price. Jack Miller sat alone on the bridge after the battle. He removed his gloves and stared at his hands. He did not speak for a long time. Alex Carter joined him. His uniform was torn and stained. He said the enemy force was broken beyond repair. Organized resistance had ended. Lisa Brown arrived later. Her face showed deep exhaustion. She said the enemy command system was gone. Any remaining enemy ships would scatter or surrender. Kevin Ross watched the human ships dock. Many arrived damaged and dark. Some docks remained empty. He felt a weight in his chest. These humans had answered a call that was not their own. Alliance leaders gathered to offer thanks. Words felt weak and small. Jack Miller accepted the thanks but did not smile. He said the humans had done what was needed. He said no more. Across the galaxy, enemy attacks stopped. Some enemy ships surrendered to Alliance patrols. Others vanished into deep space. The war was over. But the galaxy would never forget how it ended. It ended when humans chose to face fear head-on and did not turn away. The war ended quietly. There was no great celebration, no loud victory signal sent across the stars. After the final battle, space returned to stillness, broken only by drifting wreckage and damaged ships moving slowly towards safe ports. Alliance worlds waited in fear for days, unsure if the enemy would return. When no new attacks came, the truth became clear. The enemy threat was gone. Across the Alliance, people stepped outside and looked at the sky. Cities that had prepared for evacuation powered down emergency systems. Children returned to open streets. Refugee ships began to land on their home worlds again. The relief was deep, but it was mixed with grief. Alliance leaders gathered once more on the council station. This time the room felt different. Many seats were empty. Some leaders had lost their worlds. Others had lost entire fleets. Jack Miller stood before them again, but he looked older now. The war had left its mark. His uniform was clean, but worn. His eyes were tired. The council offered humans a place of permanent leadership. They spoke of shared command, new laws, and a stronger alliance under human guidance. Jack listened without interrupting. When they finished, he shook his head. He said humans did not come to rule. They came because someone asked for help, and because they knew what it meant to stand alone against fear. This answer confused many leaders. Power had always been the reward for victory. To refuse it made no sense to them. Alex Carter met with Alliance fleet commanders in the days that followed. He helped reorganize defenses and train new leaders. But he shared tactics freely, even ones that gave humans an advantage. Some Alliance officers asked why he did this. Alex answered simply. He said the next war might come when humans were not nearby. Lisa Brown worked with Alliance scientists and doctors. She shared medical knowledge and repair methods learned through years of human conflict. She helped rebuild damaged stations and improve shield systems. She spent long hours treating wounded soldiers of many species. She never asked where they were from. Kevin Ross was offered a higher position in the Alliance. His role in sending the message to humanity was finally recognized. He refused promotion. He chose to stay at his console, monitoring signals. He said someone needed to keep listening. Human ships stayed for several weeks. Repairs continued. Crews rested when they could. Memorials were held inside quiet hangars. Names were spoken. Moments of silence followed. Humans mourned differently than most species. They did not hide their grief, but they did not let it stop them either. The Alliance noticed this. Stories began to spread across the galaxy. Not stories of monsters, but stories of endurance. Of people who fought because they had learned long ago that peace had to be protected. Some Alliance citizens still feared humans. They remembered how fast human fleets moved, how they pushed into danger without hesitation. But fear slowly changed into respect. When the last human ships prepared to leave, a small group of Alliance leaders came to the docks. There were no speeches prepared this time. One leader stepped forward and said something simple. She said the galaxy would not forget what humans had done. Jack nodded. He said the galaxy should remember something else too. He said humans were not special. They had simply survived a hard past, and because of that they understood what this moment required. The human fleet departed without ceremony. Ships jumped into deep space one by one, leaving behind repaired stations and safer worlds. Kevin Ross watched the signals fade. He felt a strange emptiness, but also pride. Months passed. Trade routes reopened. New defense lines were built. Alliance fleets trained together in ways they never had before. When threats appeared at the edge of known space, they were handled quickly. No enemy dared to test the Alliance again. In quiet places, Alliance children learned history lessons about the war. They learned how many fleets had failed, and how hope almost died. And they learned the final lesson: when fear ruled the stars, and when no one else could stand, only the fearsome humans came to the rescue. The galaxy remembered.